Well, hello you wonderful humans, and welcome back to Elden Ring. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you some really amazing tips to get OP at the very beginning of the game without having to do much of anything. And the first thing I'm going to show you is how to get about 45,000 runes in seconds. It's kind of insane. I'm actually at the spot right now of my previous rune farming location where you can get about 4,000 runes a minute, and this is actually really close to the next place you can get a lot of runes. There's this giant dragon there, but I'll leave a link to the previous farming method in the cards on the top right corner or linked in the description. But the location we are in is over here at the top right corner of the map. There's a couple different ways to get there. One of the easier ways is to just kind of run along the road from here and just go up through all of this area. And the location we're going to want to go to is actually towards this smaller bridge right here. We want to come from it from the bottom down here. So since I already have this particular site of grace, I'm going to start from here. And many of you, if you've watched my previous video, probably have this site of grace already too. And I know I told you not to fight this dragon, but we're not going to fight it. We can actually just run right past this dragon and not die, so that's exactly what we're going to do. And this is going to get us right to the area we need to be to get a ton of XP. Now, I highly recommend not stopping at the dragon and making sure that you are sprinting. If this thing touches you, it will one-shot you, so just try and get away from it as fast as possible, and it'll eventually leash back to its location, and you'll be perfectly fine. Now, once you do get over to this area, whether you ran across the road here or across the bridge, there's actually going to be a graveyard right here that we can loot a bunch of runes from, but this is just kind of on the way to the big rune farm that we're going to try and do. But we need to get down to the bottom of this, and I think there's a couple of different ways you can go about this, but I think if we kind of walk off at this little corner right here, we should be able to fall onto those little roots coming out. And then from there, we just get ourselves all the way down. There we go. And there's a lost site of grace here that we need to activate. Now, once you're at the site of grace, you're going to rest at it and you're going to pass time until nightfall. Now, you need to make sure to do this at nighttime because the boss will only spawn at night. Now, do not engage this boss for a fight. We're going to be on our mountain. We're going to run past it. And you don't want to sprint either. You might need to sprint initially just so that he doesn't one-shot you. There we go. So just initially get past him, then don't sprint. And just kite him up this hill while hitting all of these gas traps along the way. So just keep running over all of the gas traps. If he gets up on you, then speed up a little bit. You definitely don't want to let him get too far behind or he'll de-aggro. So if he gets up on you, then sprint, but otherwise just try and run along. And what's crazy is all of these poison traps are also going to poison him. And you should get the enemy felled alert. You'll get 42,000 XP and the Ash of War Bloodhound's Step, which is awesome. The next item is going to require a little bit of fighting. Typically, I try and make these videos where you don't have to fight anything if possible, but we are going to go into Limgrave to the Death Touch Catacombs. Now in here, you're going to get an amazing trinket that is going to help you out so much in the game. Now there are some skeletons and stuff in here that you got to take down on your way, but they're all relatively easy to kill, and most of them you can even run right past if you so desire, but it might be a little bit of good practice just to murderize them anyways. The goal is to go through down to the bottom of these catacombs here, and you're going to find a lever that you have to pull. Once you pull this lever, we can head back to the beginning of this area and take down the boss. If you can do it without actually fighting all these, you can do it. Just roll through all of the bodies and get out of there. Once you pull the lever down at the bottom of the catacombs, you should have a door open now at the entrance that'll allow you to take down the boss. This guy's name is the Black Knife Assassin, and especially if you've gotten these wolves and things like that, it shouldn't be too bad to kill. Just make sure he doesn't get your blood level up or anything like that, and just take your time, and you shouldn't have too much of a problem killing this particular boss. Upon defeating him, you're going to get something called the Assassin's Crimson Dagger. Now this thing is actually a trinket. I know it's called a dagger, but it's a trinket that we can equip with any other weapon. Now this thing is amazing. Its item effect is critical hits restore HP. So you can actually use this really handily when you need to heal or anything like that without having to use a potion. Now critical hits are things like backstabs, which is like this. And you can see when it happens because we'll have like their energy channeled inside of us. You can also have it happen when you stun somebody. Am I going to get the stun on them? Basically, when you stun them and are able to do that same kind of stab into their body, that will also return HP to yourself. Now to get a very cool weapon that you can get right next to the first area in the game. If you go fast travel back to the first step, we're going to head down to this little area in the water down here. If you just kind of run off the edge in this direction, we're just going to loop right around. We're going to jump down right about here, avoid all of the deadly bats, and we're going to go straight into those ruins. You can avoid most of the bad guys in this area, and you can double jump with your horse over this wall, and there's going to be a little, set of stairs here. You just run down these set of stairs, open the door down at the bottom, get a chest inside. Loot this nice little chest, and you'll be able to get a weapon called the Twinblade. Now, the Twinblade has a strength requirement of 10 and dex of 18, but its attribute scaling is strength of D and dex of D. Next up, we've got a full armor set that you can get extremely easy without having to fight anything. Now, if you haven't made your way over to Caelid yet, you can follow this, go across this bridge, follow this road down, and just keep following the road without fighting anything until you get to the smoldering wall. From here, we're going to go down into these ruins right here. And from this particular site of grace, if we just go through here and along this wall, we can see our way down into those ruins right there. Just avoid everything on your way down here, and you should be perfectly fine. When you come around this corner where that ghost is, you can see exactly which building it is because it's kind of got that triangular part of the wall. Now, it's an interesting set of armor for sure, and it's not going to give you a ton of physical defense, but it does give you quite a bit of magic, fire, lightning, and holy defense. Next up, we're going to go back to the beginning area of the map and make our way down south if you haven't already gone down through here. But there is a church up here called the Church of Pilgrimage. This also has a lost site of grace. And then you can go up to this wonderful statue. Anytime there's a church, you're going to want to go to the church and pick up the stuff, essentially. So we've got a sacred tear here. Now, if you go back to the site of grace, you can go to your flasks and increase the amount replenished by using that sacred tear. The more of these you collect, the better your healing potions or your FP potions will be. Now, there's another church nearby that'll give you the Flame of Frenzy spell, as well as another one of these wonderful items from the statues, the Sacred Tear. Now, this one is located just south of this one down this road at the Kalu Baptist Church. You can run to this Castle Morn one right here and kind of run all the way through here. Now, this is going to be filled with terrifying rats, but you should be able to run in and grab the item and run away or kill them. They're not too bad. Just don't get hit too much. Now, also for this area, if you're looking for the map, it is going to be down here. You can run down to the pillar that's along this road, pick up the map to unlock the whole area. Now, if you fast travel back to the Church of Pilgrimage, you're going to find another church all the way down here. And as you're going down to the location, you can see it right there in the distance in front of us. If you go in through the back of the church, you won't even have to fight anything. You can synchronize with the Site of Grace, and you can pick up another Sacred Tear. Now, one of the best churches in the game, you're definitely going to want to make sure to get to if you haven't already. I've covered this in previous videos. This is the third church of Marika. It's very easy to get to. Once again, you're not even going to have to really fight anything. Well, you don't have to fight anything specifically for this one. This is the starting spot, so the first step. You can run along here, go across this bridge, and just follow the road down to get to the third church of Marika. This is where you're going to loot from this particular statue there, and then this bowl right here. In here, you're going to be able to get another sacred tear and the flask of Wondrous Physick, which is going to be awesome. Now, if you go to the site of Grace, you can mix your Wondrous Physick, and you can add in the crystal tear in here, which restores half of your total HP. So it's like having another HP boost, and you can get the strength knot crystal tear very easily nearby, which temporarily boosts strengths by 10, which is pretty awesome. It does that for 3 minutes. To get the strength knot for your Physick, you're going to go to the Storm Hill Shack. This is just right in the first area. And then from the Storm Hill Shack, you can hop on your mount, and we're going to go directly over to where that giant ogre dude is. I guess he's not necessarily an ogre, but he's definitely a giant. You can run right past him, and you're going to find another bowl here, and this is going to have that strength knot in it. Add those both to your Physick, and you'll have yourself a nice boost. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next one.